Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing a new spread in my art journal, and I've used the Distress Oxide sprays to create the background today. I haven't used these sprays much because I find them very difficult to use. I am also not a big friend of inky sprays because it always is such a big mess, and I love to have white space on my pages, and whenever I spray I have the spray everywhere, and that's what I don't like about ink sprays. But I wanted to have these Distress Oxide sprays, and I would love to use them more. I just found it very difficult. I don't know what about you and how you use the Distress Oxide sprays. I tried it 2 days ago to use them on a gesso background, and that didn't work because they never dry. Today I'm working in the Arteza art journal. It's a watercolor journal, and I did a review on it a while ago. I will link the video up in the top right corner info box. Today I've started my page by stamping the rubber dance grungy circles with VersaMark ink, and now I'm adding a white opaque embossing powder. For some extra texture, I'm also stamping the old book page stamp. And now it's time to add the spray inks. I'm starting with Mermaid, Lagoon and peeled paint. The embossing acts like a resist against the inks, which creates a very interesting effect. I'm using a brush with a little bit of water to blend in the colors. I'm drying this first layer before I go on top with Walnut stain. I'm using a brush to apply the color. And as always, I'm adding in some gesso with a palette knife. Because I'm using inks, the paints bleed into the gesso, which creates a very interesting effect. I'm drying this layer with a heat tool, and then I go on top with a second layer of gesso. After everything is dry, I go in with the Distress Oxide ink pads. I have the feeling they do dry on gesso. I don't know what's the problem. I used the ink sprays on gesso and they didn't dry. Well, they maybe dry within a few days, but they didn't dry overnight. And I have no idea what the problem is. I would be very interested how you handle these inks, how you work with them, if you use gesso, if you don't, and if you have the same problem with drying on a gessoed surface or on a aqua ground surface. By the way, the colors I'm using here is the aged Mahagoni, and I will also use the Wilted Violet. It's also the first time I'm using this makeup sponge to apply the ink. One of my students from a class at the local education center told me that these brushes are so perfect for blending the distress inks. So I got some from Amazon, and that's the first time I try them, and I really enjoy them, and they work super cool, and I think they work much better than the normal blending tools. So I'm pretty sure I will get more of these brushes. I don't want to waste the ink that I have on the stencil, so I'm spritzing it with water and clean it off on my left side of the journal. My main images should be the rubber dance doodle flowers, and I want to create kind of a still life with these flowers, and I want to add also a vase. But when I arrange them on my page, I feel that the page is much too big for these small flowers. So finally I decided to paint a frame all around the page, and yes, I will cover up a lot of my background. I'm using black gesso to paint my frame. After the frame has dried, I decide to stamp a sentiment with white pigment ink. I'm using the Memento Luxe wedding dress, and it's already a little bit gray, but it works pretty fine on my black gesso. And I will also stamp the same sentiment into my background, but then I will use a black ink. For my title, I'm using the word dream. It comes with the same stamp set as the sentiment I've used before, and because it's almost not visible on this busy page, I color in the letters with a Neocolor crayon. I'm also using the crayon to create kind of a table where I can put my vase with the flowers on. I cut the vase from a background paper I used to put on leftover paint or to clean my stamps. I have always a lot in my stash, and there is always one matching background for every kind of page. And now I'm arranging my flowers. When I'm happy with the result, I glue them down. My flowers are colored in with watercolors, and I add extra shadings with colored pencils. After I've adhered my flowers, I add some extra shadows to my vase with the Neocolor crayon. That's my page for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you see us next time. Bye!